Schools and events aren't the only things being impacted by COVID-19. Lisa Sugar reports.
The coronavirus is forcing many people to work remotely from home. One of those people, our very good friend Charles McElwee. You know him as the vice president of the Greater Hazleton Historical Society, but he is an assistant editor with the City Journal at the Manhattan Institute in New York City. So obviously New York right now in an emergency situation. So you guys aren't going into the office.
My colleague at the Manhattan Institute, Nicole Galinas, she has an article this afternoon in City Journal, and she makes a good point about, as she calls it, homebound. The coronavirus is ripping apart the global economy's beating heart, the interconnectedness of people and goods, and she makes the point comparing the interconnectedness of the 2008 economy and the Great Recession, the economic crash, to today. And I'll just read a quick excerpt. The real world quickly reflected the panic in the financial world in 2008 as financial firms cut off the credit that supports jobs in construction, manufacturing, and consumer services such as travel and restaurants. 12 years later, as coronavirus spreads around the world, we're seeing an inverse of that earlier crisis of interconnectedness. The coronavirus is abruptly ripping apart the intricate physical entanglements that exist among banks, but also among people and goods. This is human interconnectedness, the real world global economy. This time around, financial markets aren't creating the acute disruption. They are simply reflecting that this crisis is easier to understand, but it may be harder to fix. In some ways, this has just been a very bad 20-year run. You look at 2001, we had the worst terrorist attack in the history of the country, and the world paused, America paused. But we regrouped quickly because we were supporting restaurants, we were going out to baseball games, we were supporting our economy because it was a patriotic act to show the world what we could do in the face of that tragedy and that crisis. So things rallied quickly despite how horrible that day was. 2008, even though October 15, 2008 was devastating for the markets, life continued at its indifferent pace. Long term, it had devastating impacts, of course, our employment numbers going down, the industry, supply chains, but the world continued. This is very different. This is like the third crisis that we've seen since about 2001 where the world is pausing. But there's so much unknown now, and it's something we haven't really seen in almost 100 years, since the 1918 Spanish influenza. So that's why people are distressed. But the best thing you can do is just, like in my case, work remote. But then, of course, you have to think of all the other people who can't work remote. So it's long-term a situation that could prove tragic in more ways than just the virus.
Always good to talk with you, Charles. Thanks for coming in. We'll see you with Charles again soon.